Draft2Digital, one of the leading distributors of self-published books, announced today a groundbreaking retail distribution agreement with Fable, an innovative online bookstore and virtual book club app that reaches over, you ready for this, 650,000 readers and 25,000 book clubs. This partnership is bound to shake up the indie publishing scene, offering readers access to a vast array of titles while providing authors with new avenues for visibility and sales. Today, I'm joined by Jim Azevedo, the head of marketing and corporate communications and at Draft2Digital, and of course, Kim Marsh Ali, the head of operations and community at Fable, to learn more about this exciting collaboration and what it means for both authors and readers alike. Welcome, Jim and Kim. How are you both doing?
Great, thanks.
Yeah, doing great, Dale. Thanks for having us both.
I'm pumped up. You teased me a little bit, Jim, ahead of time about this happening. And so, of course, now I'm all just rattled. I'm super excited. If you guys are watching this right now live or on the replay, you have questions, please load those up inside the chat or inside the comments, and we will do our best to answer those as soon as I can get a few of my questions answered. So, Kim and Jim, could you be able to indulge me in a little bit of some questions here?
Sure, happy to.
Absolutely. Yep.
Wonderful. All right, so let's start out here, Kim. Obviously, let's just get the easy one out of the way. Could you share what the Fable app is?
I can, yeah. So Fable is an ebook retailer. So we do sell books, ebooks, and we're also a social app. And we power tens of thousands of digital book clubs. So I would actually love to show you in a demo if that's cool. I can try to share screen here and show everybody the app so they get a feeling for Fable. So powering up my iPhone here. So Fable is an app. It's available on iOS and Android, and it is really a home for readers. So I'm showing you all our home feed here, people updating the book list, what they're reading, people rating and reviewing books. We do have half stars, and just posting all about what they're reading and engaging with one another. I'm going to move along the bottom bar from the home screen and show you some of our book clubs.
Okay.
So we actually do have, I think it's 30,000 book clubs that are operating on the platform now. About half of those are private, small book clubs, just a couple of friends reading together. The other half are public. People open them up for anyone to join. And you see book clubs of up to, I think, 35,000 people. If I tap into one of them here, you can see who the moderator is. You can see they have almost 8,500 members. I can see the book that they're currently reading. And I actually see chapter-based discussion rooms for people to post about the book as they're reading. So when we talk about online book clubs, this is an example of one. In addition to that, and again, I'm still moving along the bottom bar, we have a bookstore so people can search for all of our millions of titles. We've just added a whole bunch more with this exciting new Draft2Digital partnership. So excited to talk more about that. But this is a place for people to discover new books to read, engage with some really fun interactive features. This is almost like bookish Tinder. You can swipe right on books you love, swipe left on the books you don't love, and it's turn your tastes. Showing you my library where I can build reading lists or even import my existing Goodreads lists, and also where I can find all of the books that I've purchased to read on Fable or the samples that I've started to read. And finally, my profile. I can set a reading goal. I can view some really cool reading stats, and everything is viewable there. So that's my quickest, easiest overview of what Fable is, and thanks for indulging me in that so much, Dale.
Yeah, so I'm curious, I'm just assuming that this app is 100% free for readers to use.
It is 100% free for readers. Everything is free except for the content. So if you're purchasing books to read on Fable, those do cost money unless they're in public domain, right?
What if someone purchases a book off platform? Could they still be able to participate in the book clubs?
They can, yeah. So those kind of chapter-based discussion rooms I showed you, people can read in whatever format they want and still come to the book club to discuss or post on the home feed about what they're reading, rate and review the book. I did not go in and show you inside of our ebooks. In the book clubs, you can actually annotate, kind of add emojis in the margin. You can create highlights, and it automates like a very beautiful share like quote card for social media. Happy to share some of those features. So there are really great reasons for book clubs to read together on Fable and purchase the books there, but we've made it accessible and built an experience that works regardless of how people are reading.
Nice. Jim, I got to keep you busy over here. So what makes this new partnership with Draft2Digital and Fable so unique?
It's unique because it's so much more than just a book retailer, a new retail distribution partner, which is always wonderful. Whenever we can add more reach and more visibility for our authors and their books, that's fantastic, and everybody's delighted to do that. But as Kim was just talking about, it's so much more than just a retailer because we've got the built-in app within the reader itself, which is amazing. I mean, Kim did it justice, but there's just so much more to it than that. Just the feed alone, the For You feed alone on the app's homepage, it's fantastic because you've got this community, which is so nice. It's like your built-in tribe, and they're feeding you new books to check out, and it's so incredibly positive. So there's that aspect, but also on top of that, it's the book club aspect of it as well. And Kim already mentioned there's 30,000 book clubs. I swear, it feels like it just keeps growing and growing and growing really, really quickly, this community. And that what really caught my eye when we were having these discussions at the beginning was that there are some unique promotional opportunities for our authors as well with these book clubs. So it's a lot of retailers offer merchandising opportunities at the bookstores, but with these book clubs, there are opportunities to create like an author's own book club for when you're getting ready to release a book with their e-arc club. So you can do this free giveaway book club with an arc of your book prior to your book being released to the public. You can have a pub day launch, which is similar to an art club. So you can get readers talking about your book before it launched with the eArt clubs or the day of it launched. So the readers are engaging with the authors, which is what we know that kind of sets indie authors apart, because indie authors know and value their readers. They know that they like to talk to their readers and engage with those relationships. And they can do that with these two clubs. And then when I was speaking with Kim, kind of, as leading up to the launch, we learned that Fable will also engage with an author. There are paid promotion opportunities as well. Well, they will market your book to some of these top level clubs as well. They're the ones that have the thousands and thousands of readers to engage with your book. And then they'll report reader stats back to us so we can see how these readers within these promotional book clubs are engaging with the author's books. So that is what kind of set it apart for me. And just to set the stage for everybody, it wasn't like these discussions just started happening a couple of weeks ago. This goes back prior to Draft2Digital's acquisition of Smashwords. So
Wow.
I think the discussion was first, brought to our attention when maybe it was 2020. No, it couldn't have been 2020. It was 2020, late 2021.
Probably we launched the app in summer of 2021, so it's probably shortly thereafter. We haven't been around for a long time, but
Yeah.
this Draft2Digital partnership has been a top priority. It's been in the works for a long time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we had to do this whole merger thing right after those discussions began, and that took a lot of our attention away from the Fable discussions. We still kind of had it going, but then as I just really had the more in-depth discussions with Kim and Alex, the editorial operations or editorial manager at Fable, then it kind of really sunk in. Like once I finally got it and then presented it to my team, then it was like full steam ahead.
So we've heard from Draft2Digital. I'm really kind of curious, Kim, what does this relationship with Draft2Digital mean to Fable? Because obviously you guys have been around for a few years now. So why Draft2Digital?
Yeah, it was really important to us to add more indie titles, self-published titles to Fable. We hear from our readers constantly. We are getting dozens, if not hundreds, of requests a day for new books to be added to our catalog. I showed you when I opened one of those book clubs how
Mhm.
the chapter rooms are automatically created when you select the book that the club is currently reading. And then there is additional functionality if we have the book in our catalog on Fable. If people can view the sample and purchase the book to read on Fable, they can engage almost like in the way that Wattpad works. You can actually be in the ebook together, and to have that experience in, published books is really fun and cool. So we hear from our audience all the time that they want more indie authors on Fable and they want access to those books. So expanding our catalog through this partnership with Draft2Digital was super important. I do think also those kind of book club opportunities, ways to promote, self-promote, um, really create a free platform and way for authors to reach new readers feels very unique on Fable. And so being able to really like almost double the size of our catalog and the number of
Hmm.
authors who we work with through this partnership with Draft2Digital has been awesome.
Super exciting. So, what would you recommend here? What are some best practices for engaging on the Fable platform? Because you showed a few of the features,
Yeah.
but if and from a perspective of a reader as well as an author, what are the best practices there? Because I'm so afraid sometimes of going to new social, apps that I might, violate some type of etiquette.
No, not at all. Jim hit it on the head when he said it is a really positive, friendly community. This is not Goodreads with 750 million users. Fable, we're still in our infancy. It's like a very small, tight-knit community of readers. Somebody called it the coziest corner of the internet, and that feels very right to me. It's a really safe, positive place for readers and for authors. So don't hesitate. Definitely, download the app, create your profile. And, I would encourage you if you have existing Goodreads lists to import them. The reason being is it helps us understand who you are as a reader, what books you've loved, what books you haven't loved. And it helps us to make recommendations for you of both books, new books to read and discover, including some of the books in Draft2Digital's catalog. Um, but also, it helps us recommend book clubs to you that you might be interested in and kind of new communities of readers for you to engage with. So that would be my recommendation for readers getting started. And then they can just browse the home feed and start to explore book clubs. For authors, beyond setting up your profile and starting to engage and explore those book clubs, I do think it's worth considering whether it makes sense to start your own book club, especially if you are in the process of building a community of readers who love your work, and who would be interested in this kind of extra special opportunity to engage with you. For a reader to have the opportunity to be in the ebook with the author feels really highly differentiated. Like you don't get anything like that. I mean, seeing the reader annotations really cool. It's a different thing to be kind of in the ebook in kind of a social media like experience where you can tag the author and even engage in a conversation with them as you're reading. So we've seen authors, yeah, create their own book clubs, run giveaways. We help authors run giveaways of their work. We have a lot of free options for people to promote their new books and share, like Jim was mentioning, kind of run a giveaway of e-arcs or of the ebooks on PubDate, and get early readers into your book, get them posting about it, rating and reviewing it. And that kind of opportunity to do it alongside the author feels so special. We do have paid options as well if you want that giveaway to get more visibility on the platform. If we have hundreds of amazing creators, bookish influencers that have created their own clubs on Fable, that can help pull attention to your book if you're interested in that. We can, we have options that we can share, but yeah, just very excited for authors and readers to discover Fable.
Super exciting. Jim, I want to hear from you on this one. How can we best leverage the Fable platform to reach more readers and sell more books by way of Draft2Digital?
Sure. Step number one is to opt in to get your books distributed into Fable app. I would say, once you do that, just start playing with it. It's a very robust app. It's super easy to use, but there's a lot to it. Check it out. And I envision that once you do start checking it out, you're gonna say things like, oh, this is really cool here. It'll open your eyes. And for me, when I was writing the press release, it was an interesting exercise because it was like, okay, well, how do I describe Fable concisely? Because sure, it's an online retailer, but it's also this amazing app, but it also powers these thousands and thousands and thousands of book clubs. So that's what I would encourage you to do. Just like any other new community as an author that you enter into, number one, get your books into that community and then start engaging. And by engaging, that does not mean going into the feed and telling everybody, hey, check out my book, check out my book, check out my book. Just
that doesn't work.
No. Just go in there and interact with some of these folks, and then pepper in there. I wrote a book about such and such. And I think the community they'll learn organically that you are an author and the genre in which you write, and then let it take off organically from there. If as an author you don't want to launch your own book club, talk to your readers, talk to your fans, and ask one of them if they want to create a book club, or let them know about Fable, because then you can engage from that perspective. Then once you do that, you're going to turn those fans into super fans, and that's what we all want.
Absolutely. I appreciate the tip that we probably shouldn't just beat people up to a reader of books, but that is so cool to think.
We've all seen it. We've all seen it on different social apps.
And with one finger pointed forward, there's three pointed back, because I've been just as guilty of doing something like that and noticing, why am I not getting any sales from this? It's the wildest thing. There's so many questions I would like to ask you guys, but what I would like to do is empower some of our live viewers that are catching this broadcast right now to ask some questions. If you have them, please put a Q in front of that so I know exactly what we're looking for. I'm going to ask a couple more questions and we'll go to the live feed. So, question for both of you, either one of you can probably answer this. What are the royalties going to be like in selling a book through Draft2Digital on Fable's platform?
I'll defer to you, Jim. Thanks.
Okay. Just like most of our other, or just like all of our other retail platforms, it's the same type of split that we're going to get. So there's nothing funky or new or different through working with Fable.
Perfect.
Yeah, 70-30.
So I noticed something in the extended press release about promotional opportunities, and I know that Kim even mentioned promotional opportunities. How do we take advantage of those promotional opportunities, and what's that going to cost us?
So I can field this one. We do link out to our media kit. So if you follow kind of the link to the press release on the Draft2Digital website, we have our media kit available there. So you can review some of the options. And then it actually prompts you to reach out to Fable. And it's me. I am the person on the other end of the line who you will talk to. I've worked with dozens of authors and publishers now to help them set up promotional campaigns that involve everything from targeted email. We know a lot about our readers and the types of books that they enjoy. And that helps us create really targeted promotions that have high conversion. So we can help you set that up. We mentioned kind of the giveaways, that promotional giveaways we've done. We've mentioned some of our influencer-led book clubs that can help your book get visibility on Fable, but also, if you're partnering with one of our, influencer creators that has 700,000 people on TikTok who are following them, They are, the campaigns there posts both on Fable and to the complementary platform. So lots of really
I didn't
good
know that. That's
options.
cool. I didn't know that. See,
Yeah,
there's so much
yeah.
to learn.
Yeah, yeah. We have, I think it's like almost 300 affiliate partners now who are creators that have started book clubs on Fable and have a large following there, but also, started their audience in most cases on TikTok, on Instagram, or on YouTube. And so they are cross-posting to both Fable and that other platform. So it is a really cool and unique, I think, opportunity.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Well, I'm going to go over to the live question and answer here because we got a few people that are dropping some questions here. I just want to kind of scroll through again. If you guys want to be shouted out, please put a Q in front of your question so I know that it's exactly what you're looking for. By the way, shout out to Lexi Green. Glad to see you here. Let's see here. I'm on the app now. It's cool. Writer Cleve Bourbon shared. Nice. Lexi says a big part of advertising and most social media comes down to reaching the corners where readers live. It's exciting to have a platform that's full of passionate readers looking for new books. Elaine Canyon, a great YouTube channel, by the way, folks. Go check her out. Where do we opt in to have our books on Fable? I love the app and would love to get my books there. Jim, I think you got this one, right?
Yeah, the next time you log on to your Draft2Digital account, you should see a pop-up window that tells you about this new partnership, and you can go into your dashboard and opt in there. You can opt in your entire catalog, or you can do it one book at a time.
Perfect. All right. Let's move a little further forward. Keith Wheeler Books. Big shout out to Keith, by the way. This will be a huge opportunity for indie authors. I totally agree. Hannah Jacobson from Book Award Pro just catching this announcement. Wonderful news. Totally agree here with you. Let's see here. I'd like to try to keep the Draft2Digital questions on topic with Fable. So I'm sorry, T. I'm not going to bring up the question about children's books and the length of minimum pages. Okay, so this is pretty interesting here. Another question. Sorry. Please, if we can, let's keep these questions focused a bit more on Fable and Draft2Digital and a little less about Draft2Digital because they're ready to beat Jim up. Jim, they're here for you, man. They're here for you.
Come on.
Yes, and if you folks want to, please, there are going to be links inside the description down below. You can be able to get a link over to the press release announcement over on Publishers Weekly. You can also get access to Draft2Digital. If you do not have an account currently, all right, you can go over to my referral link, dalelinks.com/D2D. Get yourself set up. That is a referral link, meaning if you set it up, I get a little bit of a kickback every time you sell a book. So it's kind of nice. But it's not mandatory because you can always just go to draft2digital.com. And of course, you will see the Fable option as soon as you log in. My good buddy Shannon Houston just verified that yes, all you need to do is pop into your account and it'll queue you up automatically, let you know that Fable is there.
Yep.
All right, well, it looks like we've got a lot of people chatting. So is there anything else that we could share about this partnership here between Fable and Draft2Digital that we haven't already covered, Kim?
I don't think so. I think, the headline here is our readers are dying for access to your books. So please, the more of your titles that we can get up over on Fable for people to start book clubs and start making purchases there, the better. So very excited to welcome you all and very grateful to Draft2Digital for the partnership and Dale for having us today.
Okay, I've got a question here. Matt Green says, I do horror and transgressive fiction stuff. Is Fable still a cool play box for me to take my toys in?
100%. Yeah, we have readers for all genres, any small niche, and horror especially. Horror is actually interestingly, one of the places where we have a lot of demand, a lot of people looking for book clubs and titles, and not as many, and like not enough supply. So he should definitely get on Fable.
Very interesting. I'm glad that he asked that. We have a little bit of a delay here, so a lot of the viewers are probably getting slow to the questions here. Ellis K. Creates says, I'm pretty new to this world of online book clubs and book-related social media. Is this like the Facebook club groups? Can you give a comparison to anything we might be familiar with?
I mean, Facebook group, it is a community-based forum in that sense that it is a place for groups of people to come together. It is built specifically for book clubs, in that when you select the club book, chapter-based discussion rooms are automatically set up. So that small bit of structure goes a long way. There is also at the very, I didn't show you this, but at the end of the book, there is a discussion room where people are prompted to rate and review and kind of talk holistically about how they enjoyed the book. So those discussion-based rooms really guard against spoilers and allow people to enter the chat regardless of how they were discussing previously. People have talked about Discord, and other kind of Reddit, subreddits, other places where they come together to discuss books, but none of them were designed specifically to support book clubs. And I think that that's why we've been so successful, especially for younger demographic. We've found a lot of traction with Gen Z, and I think for them it makes sense that a book club is an app on their phone. And, for so many of them, they're like, oh, Fable, this is it. I've heard about book clubs. So yeah, if you haven't yet checked it out, it's gonna feel reminiscent of other social media in certain ways, but it has been built everything from the ground up specifically to support readers and book clubs.
Nice, exciting. My buddy Thomas Bradley, just want to give a big shout out. He says, "Wow, really good to hear of that about horror. That makes me smile." Only you, Thomas, you smile about horror getting its place. So I've got a few other questions. Now they're finally coming in here. So writer Cleve Bourbon says, does Fable monitor their reviews for fakes? Does Fable have reviews? And I believe you said there is a rating and review system.
We do have reviews, and making sure that books are not, that there are not, we are watching for fakes. We are watching, especially before a book comes out, to make sure there isn't review bombing, to make sure that it is a safer, kind of more controlled community space relative to Goodreads. I would encourage you to head over to Fable and check out the review system so that you can get a feel for it yourself. Yeah, we do have ratings and reviews. I don't know the number. It's climbing every month. It was like month one, it was like we have 1 million reviews. Month two, it was like we have 3 million reviews. So I don't know the total number because we are a relatively new platform. We're just a couple of years old. Ratings and reviews didn't exist on Fable until like less than a year ago, which sounds wild. So we are truly in our infancy. We were talking before this call, Jim was sharing that just in the past week, we launched direct messaging. So DMs weren't a part of the Fable app until literally this past week. And we also launched an advanced kind of reader stats and insights feature.
So cool.
So if you are tracking your reading goals and progress on Fable, we give you these like really beautiful visuals of kind of what you've been reading month by month, and have an AI generated summary for you to see kind of like the type of reader you are. There's a lot
so
really
fun.
Special. Yeah, really
that
special.
Reader
really
summary
fun.
is so fun because it kind of defines the type of reader that you are, and it makes it kind of funny. Yes. And the social post is filled with these screenshots of those. It's really neat. Really neat.
Launching new features all the time.
Speaking of features, actually, Lexi brought up a great point here. Fable seems to be gung-ho about bringing in new features like the direct message options added last week. Are there any other features you're looking to add down the pipeline? I'm curious, too.
There definitely are. We have a whole product roadmap, but unfortunately I'm sworn to secrecy.
Now how that goes.
We tried, Lexi. We tried.
Yeah, I mean, another brand new one. We didn't have multiple moderators before. I think it was a couple weeks ago. There was a singular moderator, and we had hundreds of clubs that would write in saying like, hey, I co-moderate this book club with someone else, or I would want to add, however many moderators. That's brand new. So there is new stuff launching all the time. Unfortunately, I am sworn to secrecy.
Okay, we got time for
Hey, Dale, can I bring up a point real quick?
Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to mention that, to Kim's point, that sure, they're a newer app. And I think sometimes, authors and publishers might worry that, hey, this company is newer. Should I wait a little bit? Should I opt in my books now? And I want to assure everybody that whenever Draft2Digital brings on a new partner, we vet the heck out of them. There's a very long process, and Fable in particular, they're a venture-backed startup. They're not going anywhere. Their founder and CEO is a lady by the name of Pasmasri Warrior. She's been in the tech industry for, what is it, decades, Cam? It must be decades and decades. She's very well known in Silicon Valley, to put it lightly. She's like the former CTO of Cisco, former CTO of Motorola, former CIO of the NEO, the electric car company of NEO USA. She currently sit on the boards of Spotify and Microsoft.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
know her biography. She is
yeah,
incredible. Yeah, her background is in tech, but she has always been a passionate, avid reader. And I think ever since Kindle and Goodreads came out, she started seeing the tech around books.
yes,
She had an idea, and she knows the data around how good reading is for our health,
yes.
how
Thank you
it
for bringing up
improves,
that point.
yes, everyone's mental wellness, and we are on a mission to get people to read more by connecting them in books. So yeah, we've come a long way in a short period of time, and we have lots of plans for taking it to the next level. So yeah,
Yeah,
keep your eyes
I'm
peeled.
glad you mentioned that, and I'm also glad that you mentioned that word "safe." Like it's a safe community, and
Mhm.
that it sounds like that's adhering to her original vision of creating this environment that's for well-being and health when it comes
Yeah,
to reading.
for sure.
Super cool. We are getting towards the end of our time together, but there's a few more questions. Do you guys have enough time to indulge a few more?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so we've got another question here coming from Cleve Bourbon. How do Fable readers find your books? Is it keywords?
Yeah, so there is a direct search function in our bookstore. We also, in multiple different ways, have kind of algorithmic recommendations. So on kind of the Discovery Store bookstore page of the app, we know what's on readers want to read lists. We know the books that they've highly reviewed. So the more kind of data people are sharing with us about the books that they love, the more precise we can get in our recommendations. Fun fact, our chief technology officer, so not our CEO, who we were just bragging about, but our chief technology officer was at Netflix for 8 years and built their data analytics team. And he's the guy who built the recommendation engine for Netflix. And we really want to create a much better, richer, more dynamic recommendation engine for books. Understanding what people love to read so that we can recommend your book to them, even if they haven't heard of it yet.
Tremendous. I think we kind of covered this a little bit, but LSK Creates asks, will this be a good format for running ARC teams for different books?
For running ARC teams.
Yes, advanced reader copy teams.
Yeah, I mean we have run we've used Fable essentially like NetGalley in the past for pre-release books. So if we've done a giveaway of however many copies of an ARC, the digital ARC, and are able to safely and securely place it on people's bookshelves if we have the book in our catalog and it's available to us pre-release in the same way that NetGalley is able to securely distribute books. We're actually able to do the same, and we don't charge for it. So
Oh, nice.
I can't promise that in perpetuity, but for now, we're just thrilled about the opportunity to get more authors and readers engaging on the platform. So we do have free kind of self-serve options for readers to get their e-arcs or ebooks on PubDate into readers' hands.
And Kim,
Tremendous.
from what I understand too, with the ER clubs, like what you've seen in the past is an author will maybe they'll say like, hey, the first 50 or so readers will get this arc for free,
Yeah,
but everybody else, it's available as a pre-order now. You can go out there and get that book, and that leads to even more pre-orders because
100%.
then they
Yeah.
can interact with the author. prior to the
That's
book even.
exactly right. Yeah. So there is an opportunity for direct marketing to anyone who doesn't win that giveaway. And then we do also have the opportunity to make books available for in-app purchase. So we can make it really easy for people to purchase the book on Fable, or authors can link out to whatever kind of preferred, place to purchase. We hope they purchase on Fable, but we understand that readers are engaging on different platforms and maybe they are a diehard Kindle user. That's cool with us too. We're just excited to have them read and discuss on Fable.
Tremendous. All right. Tabitha Amberose says, I write spicy fantasy romance. Would I have a place on Fable?
Yes. Spicy fantasy romance. If I had to pick like a niche that is the most popular of kind of very niche, that would be the niche. You should get on Fable.
Tremendous. Seems like there's something for everybody on this app here.
For sure.
Coming back to the reviews, Atomic Elf 1 says, does the issue with fake reviews then affect authors sending out advanced copies and seeking reviews before the release of a book?
So we actually monitor for pre-release reviews of anyone who doesn't actually have that arc on their bookshelf. So if someone has the arc on their bookshelf on Fable, and we know they read it because we know if they read it, right? We have data on how far they've read inside of the book. Then they're entitled to review it pre-release. If they have not, then they are not. And that's how we're handling pre-release reviews.
Tremendous. All right, we're going to go ahead and start to wrap things up. I really want to thank both of you. Jim, Kim, I appreciate you taking some time. Where can folks reach out and get a hold of you or get in touch with you and give more information about your platform? Kim, you first.
Yeah, I encourage people to check out the Fable website. So fable.co, not .com, .co. There are links to download the app from the App Store or the Google Play Store. And yeah, there are ways to reach out. We're always reachable at community@fable.co. That's my team. So excited to talk to all of you and welcome you to Fable.
Jim?
Yeah, just for more information on this partnership, just go to draft2digital.com/blog. We've got the news posted there. Then from there, you'll see a link into the rate card that Kim was referring to before about how to get involved with some of these book promotions. If you have any upcoming releases, that will provide even more details that I couldn't talk about in the release itself because it would have made the press release very long, but very concise, very detailed explanation of what these promotions are all about and how to get involved with them. So go there. And then if you have additional questions, you can always go to support@draft2digital.com. You email them and our support team can help you out as well.
Well, thank you both so much for coming on here. And of course, if you're watching this on the replay, it would mean the world to me if you hit that little like button. And of course, share this with people because this is pretty big news. And I think there's more authors that need to tap into this new opportunity. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll catch you guys later on down the road. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.